Right, folks. Sorry about the slight delay. Hope some of you have been out flying, had a good day. In anticipation of a good retrieve, good XC day, I thought I'd just do a recap of this system for the benefit of old users and new users and people who've never heard of it before. So I'll be sharing this. It's been recorded. It'll go up on YouTube. So yeah, first, I don't want to do too much sort of boring technical stuff. I want to get into a demo pretty quickly, but I think it would be useful to just a little bit of history about it and what it does. So it came into being in May 2015, so it's 6 years old now almost. And what happened was I was at Froster, and it was a really frustrating day. A bunch of us were there, and there was nothing really happening. And a little like breeze came through, and I lobbed off and took off, flew around for like 10 minutes, and then bottom landed. And whilst I was packing up and walking back up the hill, the one good thermal came through of the day, and the likes of Alex Coltman and co went sort of like 200 kilometers, I think. I eventually got up again and just flopped over the back to Selsley. The wind was quite southwest at that point, so I just landed on Selsley Common, hitched back, and I thought, right, I'm going to do some retrieve driving. And yeah, I drove, I don't know, a few miles, 5-10 miles to collect someone. Might have been Tim Carr, actually. I got back to the hill only to find out via looking at Telegram or something that I think it was Rich Harding had landed just a mile or two further, let's say, than Tim Carr. I can't remember exactly. And I could have easily picked him up as well. So I was just trying to put a positive spin on my disappointment. And I was thinking, there's got to be a way of doing this better. And to start with, we used Glimpse. That was a bit complicated, and it didn't really have a great sort of buy-in. And then I'd been chatting to Alan Birtles, I don't know if any of you have been using Telegram since the early days of Telegram, like 2014, 2015. Telegram only had 50 users in a group, I think, or maybe 100. And so Alan Birtles had written this little Telegram bot that actually linked two Telegram groups together. So if we had more than 50 people, they could go into like the overflow group, and any messages sent to one were relayed to the other group, and vice versa. So I knew Alan knew a bit about coding on Telegram. And so I said, well, what about if we can, drop pins in a Telegram group, and you can write some interface to Google Maps that displays all those pins on the same map. And that's when it happened. Yeah, Alan initially didn't think, he wasn't terribly optimistic about it, but it all came together a little while later, and this is what we've got. So it all appears on this website, xcrt.aero. It also shows live track 24 locations, and it shows spot and Inreach locations if you register them with the XC Retrieve bot. More about that later. And you can send locations into your retrieve group via SMS. So all the information is there on my website here. It's got sort of full instructions, and there's also a Facebook group as well. So it's grown, and now there's retrieve groups for pretty much every part of the country, really. This first one is a test group, and I'm going to encourage you all to join that. I'll copy that into the chat in a minute. The only one that's not really particularly used is up in Scotland. I did set up a group to try and encourage them to use it, but they do like their XC Find website. But maybe if enough of us go up to Scotland and persuade them, and maybe if they watch this video and see the benefits of it, then it might get sort of adopted up there. So this is what the XC Retrieve website looks like on a day like today. In fact, you can see down here we've got a spot. Sorry, an Inreach. Yeah, actually, it needs to be updated. It says Delorme, but it's actually an Inreach location from Ollie. All these little paraglider and hang glider symbols are from live track 24. The different color of them is how recent they are. So something that's red has been only up on the screen for maximum 15 minutes. If it's orange, then it's between 15 minutes and an hour. If it's yellow, then I think it's longer than an hour. And actually that sort of more refers to XG retrieve pins, which we'll have a look at in a minute. I think these live track ones, if it's over an hour, I think they just go clear. I'll check up on that. So looking at another area of the country, we've got a whole bunch of people down in the, is that the Pennines? Live track 24 pins all sitting on a hill there. Someone called Scraggy. Now this you'll see there's a clickable link here, live track, to go straight to their live track, but we can't actually message them here. There's no link to message them via Telegram. We'll come on to that as well. So let's do a demo. Well, if you're running Telegram on your PC, or if you're watching this on a phone, then click that link in the chat and it should take you to the test group in Telegram. And the reason why there's a test group is that we can play around to our heart's content. All right, a load of people. Excellent, excellent. That's good. We don't need everyone to join. It's just if you want to sort of join in with this, we can drop pins to our heart's content in the test group and not sort of disturb real ones. Right, let's just go back to sharing my screen again. Right, so some of you have joined the test group, which is brilliant. The way the system works is you're in your test group, whether that's the test one just for messing around in and practicing, or whether it's the real one like the Southwest Retrieve group or the Lakes and Northwest Retrieve group or the Central Retrieve group, whatever. The basic premise of it is you land, you pack up or you land, and when you're safe, drop a pin, which is just done by paperclip and then location, or you can use the live location. So you drop a pin in your retrieve group and you send a message that includes the hashtag #map. Hopefully we all know what hashtags are in the age of Twitter. It's just something a word that's prefixed by the hash. So the system, XC Retrieve bot, recognizes certain hashtag messages, and #map is one of them. And what it means is when you send a message, after you've dropped your pin, that message will appear on the XC Retrieve Google map. So you've landed, you've sent a message saying like landed safely, just packing up, anyone nearby, #map. And then the idea is you'll open up XC Retrieve on your phone, see if anyone's maybe landed nearby. And if they have, you can message them, say, do you want to share a taxi, or have you got a retrieve driver coming, or something like that. If you move on to another place, like you've walked to a road, then you drop another pin and do another message. Finally, when you're at a railway station or you're back at home or you're in a car on your way home, don't forget to do a #cancel message, which turns your pin clear. So at the end of the day, if people are watching this at home or at work, if there's any yellow pins still out there which haven't been cancelled, it's a sort of alert system. You know, are they okay? And their buddies can check up on them. So, right, time for the demo. So I'm going to stop this share. So you might like to open up XC Retrieve, XCRT on your computer. I'm going to actually do this on my phone. So I just need to share my phone screen. So hopefully you can see that now. Okay, so during the actual Zoom recording, my connection between my phone and the computer disconnected. And so I was rabbiting on for about 10 minutes with people not being able to see what I was talking about. So I'm re-recording this sort of after the event, and then we'll go back into the Zoom recording. Now, during the Zoom session, I recorded this in the test group, the test retrieve group, but I'm actually going to record this in the Southwest Retrieve group because it is an actual XC day, believe it or not. It was a 5-star forecast, but it wasn't exactly 5 stars, I think it's fair to say. So let's pretend I've landed and I've packed, well, I've gathered together my wing. I'm just sort of sorting myself out. I'll just let people know I've landed safe. So click on the paperclip, click location. Now you don't, obviously this is my home location. I'm going to pretend I've flown from Sellesley, which is where a couple of flights were from. Tom Cole did 50k, Wes did about 40, something like that. And they landed somewhere down towards Marlborough. So I'm gonna pretend I flew with them and send this location. And I'm going to put a little message here saying landed safe, packing up, then need to get back to Sellesley. And then the all-important hashtag. So that hashtag tells the xcrt bot to attach this message to my pin. If you just type hashmap on its own without a meaningful message by it, all it does is when someone clicks on your pin in xcrt, they just see the text hashmap. So it's completely meaningless. So always include a message with it, or don't include a message at all. Now let's go into into Safari, and we can see quite a busy screen here. If we zoom out, we can see we've got people flying still here. We've got someone flying. This is a live track via the airware system. Red means it's current. Here's an orange one. Paul Jiggins. That means he stopped flying. I think it's 15 minutes on the live track if it goes orange. The ones that are clear here, like this one, I think it means they stopped flying over an hour ago. And actually, interestingly, whilst we're just looking at this, you can see with this pilot, we've got a clickable link for directions and a clickable link for his live track, but there's no means of messaging him. Whereas, oh yeah, that's the same for Tim Crow. But Paul Jiggins, we can see we've got an option here to message Paul Jiggins. That option is there because Paul has registered his live track username with the xcrt bot. So that is useful to do. So we can see my pin. If you click on the menu up on the top right hand corner, you can see the names of people who've dropped pins but who haven't cancelled. Now let's just turn off some of the clutter here, because you can see this map is showing live track 24 symbols. Actually down here we've got a spot or Delorme spot page here. So let's just declutter it. So we can turn off live track 24, spot and Delorme, and for some weird reason it doesn't always seem to hide them. I'm just going to refresh the browser and try again. Yeah. So now we're just left with our pins. So the red one is ones that have pins that have been dropped in the last 15 minutes. So there's a good chance that's me. Yep. There's my message. Landed safe, packing up, then need to get back to Sellesley. Now I've landed. I've opened up xcrt on my browser, and look, whoa, there's a pin right next to me. If I can click on it. Just probably need to zoom in a bit more. It's Wes. So I can just click on him and send him a message. Say, you know, have you got a lift sorted, or do you want to share a taxi? Something like that. Now, Wes, you can see I've got the option here, message at Wes Merch. That's because Wes, and if you see it on me as well, you've got the message option. That's because we have both set usernames within Telegram. So even if Wes was in a different retrieve group than me, or even if it was someone I'd never ever messaged before, I would be able to message them. So let's see these. Let's have a look at these other pins. Okay, that's Andrew Craig. So he set his username. They've got Alex Kennedy's got a username. Raffle has got a username. I wonder if there's any down here that don't have a username. Let's just zoom in. Okay, Alex Dale. So the only option we've got with him is just for directions. So that means Alex hasn't actually set his Telegram username. Pete Chalmers has. Just as a matter of interest regarding the directions, you've got a directions link type, so you can use different navigation options here. So it will use your default for your phone. So let's say I've now packed up and I've moved a bit, and I've decided actually to walk into the centre of Avebury and wait at the pub there. So I'll go back to the Southwest Retrieve group and I'll drop another pin, location, and you can use live location if you're walking somewhere and you're expecting a driver to come and find you, then you may as well do share live location. So let's put it in. Let's go and find Avebury. It's a bit of a pain having to scroll again. Devizes, Pusey, Marlborough, somewhere around here. Avebury. And I think the pub is right on the corner here from memory. So I'll do save this location. So now if we switch back to, you saw my pin slightly move. Okay, so carrying on, let's say Wes has been a thoroughly good chap and has arranged a retrieve, and he's now joined me in the pub. So the final thing for me to do is do a cancel. So I don't have to send another position. I can just say getting a lift back with Wes hash cancel. Now if we switch back to the map, next time it updates, and the map updates every 60 seconds, but you can sort of force it to update. Look, it's just done it whilst we're waiting. So my pin is white now, or see-through, and it just says getting lift back with Wes. Wes actually landed quite some time ago, or put his pin an hour ago. He needs to do a cancel. So yeah, this is actually quite a good check. So if you're watching it at work or at home, and at the end of the day there's still some yellow pins out there, potentially it could mean that people are still looking for a lift. So it's a bit of a safety feature. You can click on them and message them to find out if they're actually okay or whether they've just forgotten. But it also does stress the importance of actually doing the hash cancel once you're sorted for a retrieve. So I think that pretty much covers everything that we missed when my connection froze. So I'm going to stop this now and we'll rejoin the original Zoom. Other things you might need to know about. If you're a retrieve driver, and in fact, not even a retrieve driver. If you're walking to someone and you're using this map to sort of to navigate, what you probably want to do is your location updates slowly, infrequently, using low power, or fast and accurate, which obviously uses more battery. But if you're driving and wanting to pick someone up, then you need to set it to that setting, so that you've got your position is accurate on the map. Another tool there is on this map is the measure tool. So this is actually quite nice when if you're sitting at work or at home watching people, you can get them. You can see how far people have flown. I can't actually read that writing. It's 48.3 kilometers or something. It's a bit unclear, or something like that. But so that's quite useful. Okay, so this is good. We've now got an orange pin here. So Sue has she sent her pin at 1944, and it's now 2003. So that's why it's gone orange. Yeah, so guys, why don't you just do hash cancels so that your pins will go clear. With other types of pins that you see on here, like live track 24, you can see there's again, we can get directions to that pin. We can also go and look at someone's live track by clicking on that link. So we can see Ollie's been flying down on the coast in Devon or Cornwall. You can get a similar thing with his Inreach page. Click that link and it will go to his Inreach page. And it does the same thing for spot if we could find a spot on there. Right, I think I'm going to stop sharing this now and go back to my presentation. So we've covered the hash map, looking at xcrt.aero and clicking on pins to message people and get directions. If you move to a different location, drop another pin and send another message. And then at the end of the day, when you don't need any more assistance, don't forget the hash cancel message. So what inevitably happens at the beginning of the season is that people will do a message first and then a pin, or they'll just do hash map and then a message without a pin altogether. So the idea of really this demo is to try and stress that it's always the pin first and then the hash map message. Right, so let's go on to looking at the bot. So
Tim?
Yes.
Sorry, I've got a quick question. Do you need to be the next message that puts the hash map in after your pin? So if somebody puts in like another message in between, does it then correlate your map with their message and stuff?
No, you can do it sort of like 10 minutes later after 50 other messages, and it's no problem at all. It knows the map is from you, and it knows the message is from you, so it links them together.
Yep, great, thanks.
So the bot, it's just it's a user called xcr_bot, and the reason you need to interact with it is, as I've said, so you can, well, for one reason you can set your live track 24 username, but there's all these functions available, so you can actually, a group message one is not really one you'd ever particularly need to do. So live track 24, if you've got a spot, do the /spot command to set your spot ID, /inreach to set your Inreach ID. You can delete an ID if you've changed it. Activity, you've got different activity types, whether it's hang gliding, paragliding, or even driving. And in fact, if I just go back to the very first slide, here, if you look carefully, you can see there's a car icon. And that's because someone has set their activity to driving, and they appear on the map as a car. So if you're a retrieve driver for the day or for the afternoon because you've bombed early, then yeah, set your activity to driving, and that will be quite helpful for others. Right, let's just go back to here. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the XCR bot. So this is Telegram desktop. So yeah, search for the bot at xcr underscore xcr bot. Now, I think if you have never interacted with the bot before, you obviously won't see these sort of previous messages. It might just show it as like a user. Let's just click off that and go back in here. Like, it might just show something like this, the equivalence of this. And if what you need to do is click the send message option, it'll be slightly different on your phone, but you need to actually interact with the bot. You effectively need to start chatting with it, and you do that by clicking the send message button. But because once you've interacted with the bot once, then it'll be in your list of Telegram chats. And I think the very first time you do it, there's a button at the bottom here which says start, and you click that, and then it will come up with this list of commands here. So just whilst looking at that, we were talking about activity. So just to click that. So you've got PGHD, driving, or default. So the default will be whatever you've got set up in Live Track 24. But if I was driving, yeah, I should have mentioned earlier that sort of car, or this option refers to your Live Track 24 icon. So if you're live tracking whilst you're driving, set your activity here to be driving. I want to go back to the to my default, which will be paragliding. Oh, how nice. Who's Nicole? Some random person. Block user. That is the one drawback of having a Telegram username. It does mean other people can contact you. So you do occasionally get these random strangers trying to either sell you foreign exchange services or Bitcoin or just wanting a chat. /help gets you these messages again. Going back to the slides. Yeah, this shows the Live Track 24 and the difference between someone who set their Live Track 24 user ID, Yannick, versus someone who hasn't, Scraggy. How do you set your Inreach ID? And your spot is very similar. So jumping to Safari, what you have to do, explore.garmin.com, you go to the social tab, and you need to make sure your map share is turned on. And when you do that, you'll get given this, or the option to customize your map share URL. So this bit at the end here is your Inreach ID. So you need to know that. Once you've done that, you go into the, you go into the bot. But actually, I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint. What the bot needs is your sort of public feed, i.e. this. So when your map share is effectively a sort of, it creates a feed that's available to programs, and it has all your tracking points or any messages in it. So the bot needs you to have at least one position in that feed for you to be able to register it. So for example, if you try and register your name, your ID, and you get this message, no location found in feed, what it means is that you've never, you're doing this for the very first time, you've got a brand new Inreach, and there's no there's no track point in the feed. So you need to go outside, turn it on, turn tracking on, and just get at least one position in there. And then you can go back to the bot and do /inreach and register your ID, and it will come up with a message saying ID saved. So that is using the /inreach command. I assume if I just send something, yeah, if you can just ignore it by doing another command. Yeah, so like I said, doing your spot is very similar, and I'm not going to go through it because I used to have a spot. I have heard of, I think Spot might have changed the way they do their URLs. So if anyone has got a spot and has difficulty registering it, or they don't know what your ID is, let us know. We'll try and get that sorted. Another thing that the system could do, which is quite handy, is if you're in an area where you've got no data signal, but you do have one bar of edge, like really poor signal, but enough to send a text message. You can text a position in and a message to the group. So what you need to have done first, though, is in Telegram, when messaging the bot, you need to do the /SMS command to register your phone number with the bot. And you also need to set an SMS group. So that's telling the bot, when it receives a text message from you, which group do you want it to be sent to? So I'm a member of a whole bunch of groups, but I'm just going to send it to the test group here. And you're welcome to play around with this, do it to the test group. But obviously, remember, when you finish playing around with it, set it to your proper test group.
Sorry, Tim, it's Marcus.
Yep.
Just a quick question on the groups. I wanted to get onto the central group, but I think the Thames Valley Telegram group's got an old link when I click on the join. So do they expire, these links to these other groups?
It's probably just changed.
Okay.
But hang on a second. I will paste all the groups
Brilliant
into the test group, so you can
nice one.
I'll just copy this whole bit of text.
All right, thanks, Tim.
Yeah. So if you're in that test group, you'll see all these now. So yeah, let's just do I'm just going to stop this share and go back to my phone. Okay, so this is how to do the SMS sharing. When you register your phone, it will give you the text number, the SMS number you need to use in order to for it to work. So I've set up a contact called XU Retrieve SMS. So you need to give them a position, and the position has got to be in one of quite a few different formats. If you've got an iPhone, then I've just recently discovered that the Compass app lets you do it pretty easily. So you can just press and hold on the coordinates there and do copy, switch back to messages, just do paste. The only thing with that, you have to put a comma in here. And you can do a message like, hi there. And you don't need to do a hash map at this stage. It all just goes with the, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Right there, testing. Let's just send that. Go back to Telegram. So it's come through very quickly, and you can see exactly how it's come through. So it's got the coordinates, and it's got my message there as well. Obviously, if someone tries to reply to that, they're not going to be able to necessarily, if they click on @Tim Pentreath, say, they're not necessarily going to be able to, well, they can send a message, but I won't get it because I've probably got no signal. And if we go back to the map and go back to my location, we'll see we've got a red pin there. and click on it, and it's got exactly the same message there. Now, the only thing about SMS pins is you can't actually cancel them. If I do hash cancel, I think all it does is probably on this pin. I just need to refresh it probably. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's okay. Yes, I cancelled it in Telegram. I don't think you can send it. I think if I'd sent hash cancel as a SMS message, that wouldn't have done anything. So there's a bunch of different formats here, and I'll share these slides for what they're worth. But all this information is on the instructions on my website. But yeah, I'll share this in the various retrieve groups. So yeah, on Android phones, I'm sure you can just copy from Google Maps or something like that. Yeah, and I think this is almost it. If you're going abroad with some mates and you think, oh, it'll be nice to have our own little retrieve group for keeping track of people, it's very easy to do. You create your own group in Telegram, just add the bot into it, just as if you're adding a mate to that group. You then log on to the xcretrieve config sort of area, and you request your group be added to an area. So if you're going to the Alps, it would be Euro Alps. You might be going to Colombia, so you could request it being added to the Colombia group, or Colombia area, sorry. So areas, there's a number of areas around the world: Australia, South Africa, Colombia, UK, etc., etc. And within each area, there are a number of groups. And so you're requesting your group to be added to a specific area. Let's just have a little play around with some of these other areas. Let's see what's been going on in Australia today. Okay, it's saying no locations available. Let's look somewhere else. Euro Alps. So it's good fun. They've obviously had quite a good day out in the Alps. You've got a gazillion. So this will show everyone's, all live track 24 pins, regardless of whether you've registered with the bot or not. It's just, it shows everyone. And sometimes if you're lucky, you can look in Switzerland, and you'll often see Kriegel. He lives around there somewhere. And then, you can go and look at their live track and stuff like that. So it's quite good fun. So yeah, do create your own group. It's very easy to do. It's no hassle for Alan to create them, and it means you can keep track of each other very easily when you're on the ground. Obviously, there are other ways of doing this. If it's like just 3 or 4 of you, you can, in Telegram, you can do your live location sharing and all share to the same group. But it's up to you. Yeah, if you are doing it as a commercial sort of enterprise, if you want your group to be hidden so that it's not, we can't just go on here and see your students or whatever, then it's like £1 a month. It's something minimal if you want to set up for a fee. A couple of things that are hopefully in the pipeline: the ability to send a message directly from an Inreach to a specific retrieve group. It can be done. A chap called Alex Springer set it up for us last year when we did the Gumball rally, and it was really useful. But his code just sends it to one specific group. He sent his code to Alan, who is going to look at it and hopefully sort of integrate it in. So rather like you can send a SMS message to a retrieve group, you'll be able to send an Inreach message to a specific retrieve group. And I imagine if you can do it for Inreach, you might be able to do it for Spot, but that's not there yet. And the other thing is FLARM integration. You can currently link your FLARM ID to a LiveTrack account, LiveTrack 24 account, but there's a bug in LiveTrack 24 that means that whatever you know in your FLARM device, you will have you say you're a paraglider or a hang glider. The bug is that when that data comes through to LiveTrack 24, you appear as a sailplane, and as a sailplane, you don't appear on XC retrieve for obvious reasons. You know, we only want to see hang gliders and paragliders and retrieve drivers. We don't want to see, you know, hundreds of sailplanes on there. So Alan is looking at the possibility of sort of, you know, some sort of workaround to show either FLARM devices direct from the Open Glider network or via LiveTrack 24. But, you know, let's say only for those people who registered their LiveTrack 24 username, for example. So yeah, that is the end of it. I've probably rabbited on far too long. Good. Yeah. Any questions? Just ask questions in the test group is the best place, and play around to your heart's content in the test group. The beauty of the test group is that it is just tests, and when you're on the normal UK area, you don't see any test pins. Right. Have a good evening, everyone, and here's to the first cross-country day of the year sometime soon, hopefully. Cheers, then. Bye.
Cheers.